Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
Metro Transit has immediate openings for mechanics to help maintain our buses, trains, and support vehicles. It's a great place to work. You'll earn a $4,000 hiring bonus, and in the first year, mechanics earn over $88,000 a year, depending on work shift. Learn more at metrotransit.org/mechanics. Our mechanics get a generous tool allowance and outstanding benefits like great medical and life insurance and a state pension. Don't wait. Apply today at metrotransit.org/mechanics.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, snow tapers off, then partly cloudy with a low of 1 above. Friday, cloudy with a high of 20. We at AM 950 need your help to protect the progressive voices that matter to you. Please go to am950radio.com and make a donation today. We'll send you our 6th annual AM 950 calendar as a thank you. That's am950radio.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we're later on today, we're going to have our friend Franky Jackson. Franky's a THPO of Prairie Island Indian community here. And we're going to talk about what he does and what he does for the community. And it's really interesting, and I'm really excited to have him on. And then also we're going to have Wendy with our Sacred Animal portion, rounding off the show. So really excited. Want to really, again, sounding like a broken record, but I just want to really say a big pinigigi to all the people that have gone to our store at Dayton's in downtown Minneapolis. We are at the Dayton's Market, and we've been doing really well. So come on down there, and we have the same kind of things we had at the store at State Fair, and when we do pop-ups. So we have Native American jewelry, art, cards, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, jean jackets, and so on. and people that have gone down there and supported us. We just want to say a big Peenagigi. Also, a reminder too, we've had some of our listeners reach out to us that they've been down at Southdale and saw Pilot's Palette, Wendy's art down there, and supporting her and her arts endeavors. And it's beautiful. And if you follow her on Facebook or any of the Pilot's Palette Instagram, you'll see the great art that she does. And there's our animals, our sacred animals, and all those paintings, cards, uh, and smaller paintings, and their prints. So again, a big Peenagigi, thank you so much for everybody that's been supporting us. And also, again, this week is rounding up. We have a few more days here for our friends at a Christmas in Ochapi, the play here. And the play is at, let me look at the address again, 825 University Avenue in St. Paul. And the show's at 7 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, and then Sunday at 2 p.m. Uh, matinee, I guess that's what they call it. So really excited about that. Please go out there. We're going to try and make it out another day. It's just a fun play in a nice smaller theater where it's very very comfortable. So just wanted to remind everyone of that. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to our relatives out there. Stay strong. In the Twin Cities, we have ICE agents, um, attacking people. And this is the Third Reich here, and this is what's going on. And if anybody caught any of that despicable, almost humorous news conference or presidential conference last night, I just cannot handle this. How many lies. And it was weird because it seemed like he put together everything he says every day, and he just put it into a speech. Every lie, Biden's the problem, and his tariffs are tearing into us. And I just want to give again a shout out to the Republicans that are finally waking up here, and especially with our health care that's due here, and to quadruple if things aren't taken care of. So hopefully that'll happen. Yeah, and so I just really really excited. What some of the stuff too that's happening around Turtle Island is pretty amazing, and I just want to mention a few things. But again, I'd let me just back up here a second and just talk a little bit about that ICE agent that dragged a woman through the Minneapolis street. Protesters and ICE agents clash as an officer arrests and drags a woman by her arm, and this is West 29th Street and Pillsbury Avenue in South Minneapolis on Monday. And there's a video on the Associated Press, and you can see for yourself the brutality that our community is really facing right now. So it's prayers up, and this nightmare hopefully will end very soon. We just really, you know, uh, it's just unbelievable what's going on. It's just unbelievable. And you know, uh, the Native American community is sitting here watching this, and we're kind of going, well, we're used to this kind of thing, and it's so blatant right now. And just super prayers to everybody out there that's standing up, whether they're circling where these ICE agents are sleeping at night and not letting them sleep, or just yelling at them. It's so ironic too that we haven't heard anything from the bad boys and the Ku Klux Klan, because they're all in ICE now. That's and it's we're in the upside down world, and hopefully we can right this ship and people are waking up to these higher prices, and that this orange one's only out there for billionaires and himself. Um, and he's in La La Land. He does not know what's going on with the regular person. So it's just one of those kind of things, and we got to have prayers up for everybody, and talking about this and having our guests on Native Roots Radio really appreciate all that's happening and everything that's happening. It's just really hard. So everybody take care of your soul, hug your kids, talk to your parents, do good things. We're going to get through this, and we have gotten through worse, and it may not seem like it because there's so much stuff coming at us every day. It's just unbelievable. Again, you're gonna later on in the show here, I'm gonna have our friend come on, and Franky Jackson, and we're going to talk about what he does, which is really interesting, and I can't wait to really talk to him about what he does. So I just want to also give a quick shout out to our First Nations up in Canada. All the tribal leaders up in Canada are fighting this pipeline, and along with Wisconsin. And so we got a minute left here, and our friend Franky's on right now. Franky, thank you so much for being on Native Roots Radio. I appreciate you coming on. Can you hear me okay? I see you're muted. I love technology. Yes, Franky Jackson, can you hear me? Oh, you're muted. Well, that's cool. Well, we're gonna have Franky on here, and we're gonna figure everything out here. And I'm really interested in what Franky does for his tribe. And let's see if I can hear Franky. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. We'll have to go to the settings, and we'll be right back. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho!
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Metro Transit has immediate openings for mechanics to help maintain our buses, trains, and support vehicles. It's a great place to work. You'll earn a $4,000 hiring bonus, and in the first year, mechanics earn over $88,000 a year, depending on work shift. Learn more at metrotransit.org/mechanics. Our mechanics get a generous tool allowance and outstanding benefits like great medical and life insurance and a state pension. Don't wait. Apply today at metrotransit.org/mechanics.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Gianni Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Gianni Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We got a little technical difficulty here with Frankie, but he'll be joining us in a few minutes here, I hope. And there's so much going on, and I don't want to even speak for what Frankie does, so I'm going to wait for him to get back on and talk about what he has. But there's you can look him up, Google him, Frankie Jackson, Prairie Island. There's uh, Frankie's the THPO of Prairie Island, and he does a lot of things. And I was able to see some of the work that he does. And of course, he doesn't do it alone, but down in Prairie Island, where I was able to visit some burial grounds that Prairie Island bought again, the land, and it's really, really interesting. Some of the burial grounds were dug up, which is just amazing that people did that and dug up artifacts and dug up bodies. And so in 2025, hopefully, people are smart enough to talk to somebody like Frankie before things happen, and so that's pretty interesting. And I can't wait. They find things like a pipe, and uh, things like that in these burial grounds, and they're getting brought back hopefully, and that'll be an awesome, awesome thing. We need to reclaim our past, and that's pretty much not pretty much, but that's what they're doing down there, Prairie Island, and his friend working too, Noah White, works with him, and so those are the things. And it looks like we got Frankie on here. Frankie, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound
Okay,
good.
perfect. Perfect, perfect. I
Well,
was trying to log in with my laptop. For some reason it wouldn't let me, so I'm on my cell phone now. So,
well, you sound good and you look good. And I've been just mumbling through this first part of the show here, but you're the expert. And Frankie, tell us a little bit of what you do, and so I can ask you some questions. But I really believe what you do is really great work, and I know Noah works with you and other people work with you, and I'm just amazed. Do you mind introducing yourself and tell people what you do?
yeah, certainly, Robert. Well, first of all, thanks for having me and inviting me on just to talk a little bit about what we do out of our office. So, my name is Franky Jackson. I'm an enrolled member of the Sistine-Wapton Dakota Oyate. I reside here in Minnesota, and I'm the compliance officer for the Prairie Island Tribal Historic Preservation Office. I'm a cultural resource specialist. And I've been in cultural resource management coming up on 30 years. And I've been in my current position with Prairie Island coming up on 10 years. So this summer will mark my 10-year mark working for Prairie Island.
That's amazing, and maybe you can tell people what's your day like. I mean, people get a hold of you. I know years past, if there's any kind of road digging or anything, if they find something, they contact you, and that's now not always been the case, but it seems like things like that are happening in a good way now.
A large part of what we do, we're a regulatory office. And so a large part of what we have to do is work with federal and state and oftentimes land managing agencies to help enforce different federal and state statutes around historic and cultural preservation. One of the biggest ones being Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. That's probably the biggest. I guess, responsibility that keeps us, busy the most is responding to Section 106 notifications from various agencies. Um, when it comes to projects. And what this does is it forces federal agencies to take into consideration the impact that their project might have on known archaeological and historic resources. And so, as you can imagine, we stay really, really busy with just our review of these projects. So, for instance, before any major highway development project goes through, it'd typically be our office working with the state archaeologists and other stakeholders to ensure that we've identified all of the cultural or archaeological resources within the potential area, and then work on ways to help mitigate or avoid those potential impacts to cultural resources.
So, is a higher percentage or a good percentage of these people compliant, or every once in a while something gets slipped through where they don't reach out to somebody like you? I mean, you don't have to name names, but is it hit or miss? Because I know one of the things that we talk about, where we know each other, and what we talk a lot about is, people don't know what sovereignty is. They weren't taught these things in school. So are there are so tell me, that everyone's compliant, or people aren't, or how is that working for you? How it makes your job
You,
hard?
So, Robert, I've been at the table long enough that I can give you kind of a snapshot from my point of view. So let's just take a look at what consultation looked like maybe 10 years ago for
Mm,
tribes in Minnesota, specifically around historic and cultural preservation. There was very, very little representation, and there was very, very little focus from federal and state agencies to engage tribes on that level. We're seeing a big shift now, and I'm happy to see this. I'm at the tail end of my career, but I'm really, really pleased to see this, specifically here in Minnesota. Um, and I think this goes back to like the governor's call out, for meaningful engagement, with his executive order, and with his support of staffing within federal and state agencies, right? So we have um, more and more tribal liaisons positions within these federal and state agencies. And what I think that has done is help bridge that gap in communication. Um, and so you're seeing more and more land managing agencies fall in line with compliance to not only the federal regulations, but to state regulations as well. Now, that's not to say that things don't fall through the cracks. It's not to say that things don't happen. Oftentimes, what we are faced with are dealing with situations um, that we call inadvertent discoveries. And
mm,
so, say somebody's building out. Um, Extending their garage at their lakefront property, and they hit a burial mound, or
wow.
they hit a cultural resource like that, then we get called in, and then we have to help put together mitigation plans, not only for the homeowner, but working with other state agencies such as Minnesota Indian Affairs, who helps shoulder the responsibility of carrying out the Minnesota state burial law. So again, my long answer to that is yes, things are improving, Robert. Things are improving, and I want to say I want to give credit to our governor for helping fill some of those gaps, and I want to just give credit where credit is due, because we have a lot of tribal liaisons who are doing really good work to help bridge those gaps in communication. So.
Yeah, that's really good news. One of the questions, I want to ask you too, which is interesting. We know this is Dakota land here in the state of Minnesota, um, but do you ever get called in and it might be another tribal burial, does that ever happen?
Yeah, so it happens. It happens a lot, and here's how I like to address that, Robert. Because when we look at land occupation from the westernized point of view, it always has to be what dominant tribe is in that area, right? That's kind of like the
Mhm.
Washichu narrative, right? Um, so it's really important for us as tribal people, as Dakota people specifically, to acknowledge everybody who shared this landscape with us, both before us, and while we are standing on this landscape as well. And so many tribal nations have creation stories, or stories that bring them to and from the land of Minnesota. I think it's important for all of us to help honor that. And I think it's important for us to be as inclusive as we can when we go forward. We weren't the only mound builders here. There were other mound builders. There were the Ho-Chunk, there were the Iowa, there were other folks that helped occupy and leave their footprint on the geography here in Minnesota. So there are often times when we're standing on a site and we're trying to interpret a site, and I might have to call in, Bill Quackenbush from Ho-Chunk to help give us a better understanding of what we're looking at here. Or, I might have to call up our partners down at the Iowa tribe. We just lost one of our great leaders from the Iowa tribe, the THPO, who passed away this last year. But we often rely on each other for this, and we get phone calls from other tribes too, right? That help us better understand not only archaeological and cultural sites out in the field, but also cultural material. So there's oftentimes when other tribes are doing reviews of collections, or we're doing reviews of collections, and we're seeing material that's not specifically Dakota. And then we lean hard and we rely on the expertise and the traditional knowledge and subject matter experts from other tribes to help us glean that knowledge. So
Wow. Hey, we're here with Frankie Jackson, and there's some really interesting things. We got to take a quick break here. Frankie, I want to talk a little bit about when we went down to Prairie Island and saw those mounds, if you don't mind. Still think about that almost every day. It's just amazing work you're doing. And we'll talk a little bit about that, and then how you became a compliance officer, too. I'd like to know that. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. Oh,
Metro Transit has immediate openings for mechanics to help maintain our buses, trains, and support vehicles. It's a great place to work. You'll earn a $4,000 hiring bonus, and in the first year, mechanics earn over $88,000 a year, depending on work shift. Learn more at metrotransit.org/mechanics. Our mechanics get a generous tool allowance and outstanding benefits like great medical and life insurance and a state pension. Don't wait. Apply today at metrotransit.org/mechanics.
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. It's been great working with so many of the passionate AM 950 listeners over the years. We have realized how important AM 950 is to the community. I want to see AM 950 continue to grow and continue to thrive into the future. To help continue to grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to do your part by liking and sharing the content on AM 950 social media platforms.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Ryan has always told me the best time to get work done is during the cold colder months of the year because demand is much lower. He is backing that up again by offering 30% off labor on windows and siding from now until the end of December. Call Snap Construction now to get 30% off labor on windows and siding. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Trust the company AM950. Trust Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, and window contractor in the metro area. Get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, snow tapers off, then partly cloudy with a low of 1 above. Friday, cloudy with a high of 20. Cafe Latte is unlike any restaurant you've ever experienced. Grab a tray and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. Cafe Latte, Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul, or cafelatte.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Franky Jackson, THPO of Prairie Island tribe here in Minnesota. And I just think your work is so interesting. Can you tell me how you got started in this?
Yeah, so mine takes me all the way back to right around 1998, 99, when my tribe, I was recruited. I was working for my tribe's environmental office. When I had an opportunity through our planning office to help put together the grant application for the Tribal Historic Preservation Office for my tribe, for Siston. And so during that case, it was kind of a real learning experience. But through that process, I was able to help successfully land that grant for my tribe, and it sent me down this wonderful career path for the last 28 years in the field of historic and cultural preservation, which took me back to school to get a degree that I pursued at the University of Morris. And then it took me on this wonderful career of working with a lot of tribes in our region to address historic and cultural preservation needs. One of the biggest, I guess, rewards or accomplishments I think that I helped achieve throughout my career is there was a 10-year period. Right now, tribal historic preservation, that's a pretty well-known term. But back around 97, there weren't that many THPOs out there. So during the course of a 10-year period, me and my counterpart, Katie Ferris, who was an enrolled member of the Turtle Mountain band of Chippewas, he passed away a couple of years ago. But Katie Ferris and I, we made it a strategic point to help bring other tribes into the world of this THPO. And so over a 10-year period, we helped write the grant application for 12 different tribes in our region. And we helped establish 12 different tribal historic preservation offices in our region. And so that's been one of my biggest accomplishments. All of those offices are still up and running, doing wonderful things, offering some wonderful career employment, and just doing some wonderful things within their respective communities. So that's kind of how I got my feet wet and introduced into the world of historic and cultural preservation. A big part of what we do, Robert, and you got to see. you got to see a little bit of this. A big part of our responsibility down at Prairie Island, Noah White is the Tribal Historic Preservation Office, and I work closely with him and others in our department to fulfill our responsibility when it comes to burial mound management. When we talk about, just the Red Wing area of Minnesota, which is the southeast portion of Minnesota alone, there were close to 5,000 documented burial mounds in that area alone. And so many of those burial mounds have been destroyed in the name of development and science. And so what small fragments of burial mounds exist, we take protecting those burial mounds very, very serious. And
Yeah.
I want to give my props to the Prairie Island Indian community too, because they really exemplified this. They've gone one step further, and I'll share a story with you which really kind of exemplifies the true meaning of rematriation. And this is a story of how the Prairie Island Indian community purchased 156 acres along the Cannon River for the sole purpose of protecting a burial mound complex that exists there on the second terrace. And there's over 80 burial mounds within this wooded area on the second terrace. But more importantly, the tribe purchased this property so it could address a large issue, a huge issue that we have here in Minnesota. And that's what do we do with our relatives that have been disturbed from burial mounds here in Minnesota? A lot of Minnesotans may not know this, but we have over 500 relatives in holding at Hamlin University. And all of those, or a majority of those relatives, have come from burial mounds in Minnesota. And one of the biggest obstacles to addressing this issue, Robert, has been land. Where are we gonna reinter our relatives? If we cannot reinter them directly back into the burial mound that they came out of, if we can't reinter them closest to that burial mound, then where are we gonna do that? And so, this problem has primarily been one that the Dakota tribes have had to shoulder because, we are mound builders and these are our relatives. And so when you're looking at small land-based tribes, like the Dakota tribes here in Minnesota, setting aside land specifically for repatriation might not take priority, right? We have healthcare issues, we have housing issues, we have all of these other things. So again, I want to finish just giving my props to the Prairie Island Indian community for setting aside over 40 acres on the top terrace for the sole purpose of they designated as a reburial ground, repatriation grounds. And what that's allowed us to do is to start bringing back and reinterring our relatives that are in holding right now in the state repository. And so, for instance, this last summer, our office was able to help bring back 59 relatives that came from burial mounds in the southeast portion of Minnesota, many of them from the Red Wing area. Some of them were taken, like I said, from inadvertent discoveries, and some of them were targeted excavations from some of the universities and higher places of institutions here in Minnesota, such as the University of Minnesota. And so we were able to help bring back 59 relatives to this resting spot, this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot that overlooks the Cannon River. And 5 burial mounds were reconstructed where these relatives were placed back in these burial mounds, along with over 3,000 funerary objects.
Wow.
And so that reburial ceremony took place this last spring. 2 summers ago at the very same location, the tribe was able to help bring back a family of 5 that was taken from a burial mound on Lake Minnetonka back in the late 1800s. 2 adults and 3 juveniles. So the short story for this one goes, in the late 1800s, the Washichu guy from New Hampshire purchased an island on Lake Minnetonka with the sole purpose of opening up a sporting lodge. While in doing so, he destroyed the burial mounds that were on that island. He kept the remnants of one burial mound, which was a handful of funerary objects, but he also kept the human remains of 2 adults and 3 juveniles. And he sent those out to his family out in New Hampshire. And they sat in holding up until maybe 5 years ago when our office was notified. And we worked real hard with the state historic preservation office from out in New Hampshire to successfully bring those relatives home. Now we faced some of the typical challenges you might expect when doing something like this. Our natural want and desire is to always relocate or to reinter our relatives closest to where they came out of. And so we had a lot of internal discussion, not only with elders on our end, but with a few other state agencies on, what land is out there designated to do this type of activity. And there is some land around Lake Minnetonka, but the decision was made that, this if we reinterred them on this state land at Lake Minnetonka now, where it's busy, you have all of this traffic and you have all of this boating activity, and that it would not be a quiet resting place for this family. So the decision was made to reinter them in their own burial mound overlooking the Cannon River, and so that was done. Again, that's a big part of what we do. And again, I just wanted to give props to the Prairie Island Indian community for actually setting aside land for that purpose.
Do you mind telling the story? Because I love the story, how that land was purchased. And it's almost like, do you mind telling that story and let people listen to this? It's just an amazing story how that came about.
Yeah, I'll share this with you. So the property we're talking about was in one family's possession for close to 100 years. And when the old man of the family passed away, it was his wish and desire to offer the property to the tribe first before it went out on the market. And so his family members honored his wishes, and they made the tribe an opportunity to purchase the land. And so the tribe did. And the wonderful thing about this, Robert, was the old man was a really good steward of the property. There's that burial mound complex, which is on the second terrace there. Some of the burial mounds have been looted, but a majority of those burial mounds are intact, and they're intact because they were on his property, and he never allowed anybody on his property. I think he only allowed the state archaeologists to come on to his property once, and that was like 60 some years ago, and they just did some rough sketches of the mounds and things like that. They didn't do any excavations, of course, or anything like that. So the mounds that are on his property were pretty well protected by him and his family. So they had a legacy of protecting these mounds, and he wanted that legacy to be continued. And he knew that the tribe would make great stewards for that. And so the tribe took advantage of that, and we were able to help procure that land. So yeah.
That's beautiful. Franky, I got to get you on again. There is so much to talk about, and I just want to say a big peeny gigi thank you so much for coming on. I love our history, and I love that you're working to bring back our history, and that's huge. Thank you so much, big peeny gigi.
Thank you, Robert.
We'll see you soon. Happy holidays. Thanks so much, Frank.
Thank you, Robert, for Yep. Thank you, Robert, for amplifying our voices and allowing me to speak tonight. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Hey, up next, Wendy with our Sacred Animal portion. We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan.
Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Do you know that from birth to age 3, simple activities like talking, playing, reading, storytelling, and singing can boost your child's development? Little Moments Count provides parents and caregivers with the resources they need to make the most of your time together. Visit littlemomentscount.org for resources designed to support you in giving your child the best start in life. Again, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Gianni Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Gianni Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
No!
Oh, no.
The bear sounded like my wife. It sounded like my wife, the bear did. Oh, look at Wanda's going through the food thing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I want to introduce my awesome, beautiful wife. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many years, and she's co-founder of Native Roots Radio and Pilot for the Party. We can't forget about that great show.
Woohoo! Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani. That means cares for them, and I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. Excuse me, I am a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals. I work on animal issues at the local and state level. That reminds me, I was Zoom meeting tonight at 7 o'clock. I just remembered.
Oh, I'll miss you.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a really good update here. So a couple of months ago, I was talking about this overpass, a wildlife overpass in Colorado, and they were building it. Well, they completed it. So these wildlife passes are passes over highways, right? So animals can go back and forth and migrate and get over to the other side without getting killed or getting into an accident with a car and killing somebody else. But here's an article that I found from Colorado's 9 News, and it was just updated December 16th. So in Douglas County, Colorado, the largest wildlife overpass in North America is now complete and open to animals along Interstate 25 in Douglas County. This is really an amazing endeavor, and I want to just get some of the, let's see here. I have some, let's see here. So the project was finished in less than a year ahead of schedule and on budget, and the structure is converted. It's dirt and vegetation to resemble the surrounding landscape. Here it is. The overpass spans 6 lanes of traffic, reconnecting 39,000 acres of habitat between Larkspur and Monument, Colorado. More than 100,000 cars a day travel in this area.
Wow.
Yeah, and the article said that this will cut down traffic collisions with animals by 90%. And they said that every day there is a collision on this road with wildlife. So I'm really, really happy that it's finally completed, and they got it done.
Did those bridges come from Europe? Where did they
That's a good
start? Because I
question.
remember you were talking about these a few years ago.
Yeah, I don't know. And it doesn't take the animals very long.
I know.
They have
that's
some
crazy.
like in Africa too, and elephants and everything. They do it. Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's a really cute video. They have a wildlife camcorder watching this underpass. So it's an underpass that goes under the road.
Oh.
So for like smaller animals like fox, some deer can fit through there and they go under the road. But there's a cute little video, I don't know if you could Google it, of a fox and a badger. And the fox literally like goes into the tunnel and the badger's there and not really sure. And you could see the little fox like turn around and like encourage his badger friend to
I
go
think you
through
showed
it.
that
And
to
it's
me.
really, really cute. It's really, really cute. You gotta.
I think you showed that to
Yeah,
me.
it's a really cute video. It's like you could totally tell these animals are friends, and they're two different species, and it's really unbelievable. I have a really funny story though I want to share.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you know crows, how smart they are.
Yes, we
and
do.
we have crows in our yard, and they hawk at us, right? Because we throw peanuts out to them. And everybody's always saying how they have good memories and they recognize people and this and that and this and that. So the University of Washington did a study. So researchers really wanted to capture these crows in the area and find out how their memory was. But I don't know if I really agree with how they did this. They didn't hurt the crows in any way, but they did kind of antagonize the crows. So this is what happened. Excuse me, I just have to clear my throat. So the crows were captured with caveman masks. So the researchers wore caveman masks. One of the here's what it says though. Also, they wore Dick Cheney masks.
Come on.
But anyway, they went out. The researchers wore these masks and captured the crows. So all they did was capture the crow and then let the crow go. Right? That's all that they did.
Okay.
They didn't hurt the crow. So let's see. Even passing, so these crows like got really mad. So anytime anybody else would walk around the campus of the University of Washington, the crows were just fine. But anytime anyone put these masks on, the crows would go wild. Okay, they would dive bomb them and squawk and let out a call to all the other crows, knowing that this is dangerous. Stay away. So why the caveman mask? So autonomy, right? The researchers led by John Marsloff wore distinctive masks like the caveman or former Defense Secretary Dick Cheney's face to hide their true identities while capturing they banded the crows for a study, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. So learned threat. The crows quickly learned to associate the scary menacing mask with being trapped, captured, and handled, which they disliked. The experiment and findings. So capture and release. Researchers captured the crows while wearing the threatening mask. Testing recognition. Later, they walked through the campus wearing same mask, but without capturing the birds. So they just walked around. Sure. They weren't capturing the birds, just walking around with the mask. Crow recognition. The crows immediately recognized the mask, scolding, mobbing, and dive bombing the masked person, even if they haven't been trapped themselves.
Wow.
So they trapped those crows and they banned them. So they knew which crows were banned, but the unbanned crows were also bombing them, air bombing them, because they learned from the other crows, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Social learning, this negative reaction spread with crows that were never captured, joining in, showing they learned from other crows who had the negative experience. Now, this is what is what really gets it. Intergenerational memory. So amazingly, these learned fears persisted for years. even with new generation of crows reacting to the mask.
Wow.
Proving crows pass threat information culturally. So that 7 years later, they walked through the campus with these masks on, and crows that didn't even know about this or weren't even
Or
there,
aren't tagged.
and were even born yet, were taught not to like these masks. In essence, the masks were tools to reveal the crows' sophisticated ability to identify, remember, and communicate threats, highlighting their sharp intellect and complex social lives. I just think that this is
I want to know,
just,
where did you get this story? I'm sorry.
I found it, because I look up so many different things about animals, and sometimes I just like Google like a cool story about crows, or I'm interested about whatever, and I just find these articles, and this is from the University of Washington that they did this research.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's a real University of Washington study where the researchers wore the masks and they trapped the crows, and the crows really got upset about
That's a great story. Wow, what a great
it?
show. That way to end the show. Thanks, Wendy.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance. From Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. We'll see you tomorrow.
Metro Transit has immediate openings for mechanics to help maintain our buses, trains,